Hey,
Hi.
Ghost Sisters. We're running a little behind. I was planning on being on here at 7:15, but some of the girls, they don't know how this StreamYard works. So it takes people, some time to get on here.
We need
there's
some
not
training.
all the girls not all the people who went on the investigation are on here with us. So we have with us tonight only 4 of the people who was there. So let me pour me some water here and get ready. I got something I want to announce. Talk about real quick.
Water. Sure, that's water.
Girl,
right.
I wish it was wine. I really wish it was wine right now.
Sure,
I'm telling
it's water.
But I got my Ghost Sister cup here.
Mine is somewhere.
Okay.
Water and stuff.
So I need to go over this. What's up, Sister Jenny? So I need to talk to you guys real quick. I need to make this statement real quick so y'all know what's up. I need to announce that my dearest friend, one of my closest Ghost Sisters, Jenny, is no longer going to be with Ghost Sisters. Okay?
Wow.
It is nothing between us girls. No. It's no bad blood or anything like that. So I don't want y'all feeling like that was the case here.
Okay, I have water now too.
Jenny and I are still tight. We still like this. We are close like sisters. But Jenny lives like almost 3 hours away from me. And it's been hard on her to keep going on all these investigations. The girl's been going strong for 2 years. And plus she goes with her man who's on another team. So Jenny's been going back and forth with all of us, and she does real estate, and she does her school. So she's been going strong. It's been a lot on her. And us being far away, I totally understand it. For Jenny to do her thing. So Jenny has made the decision that, she's going to go and do her thing. She's going to be with Mike and them more. She might end up joining them. I don't know for sure yet. It's a possibility, and I don't blame her because that is her man's team. But anyway, I wanted you guys to know that Jenny we are still going to be doing investigations together. She's going to be inviting me to join her. She's still going to jump on here with me and do some live feeds with me, which that's awesome because Jenny always loved doing the live feeds. So I just want you guys to know, I needed to tell you guys that so that way y'all ain't wondering, where's Jenny? Where's Jenny? So I needed to tell you guys that, okay? Nothing, no bad blood. Jenny is my girl. So
good.
She's a sister. Good. She might not be a ghost sister, but she is a sister. So, all right, let's, now that I got that out of the way.
Good luck, Jenny.
Thank you.
Yes, Jenny is my girl. She's always been my right-hand man, and she always will be, regardless if she's looking or not. So we're going to talk about our investigation for last Saturday. Now, the people here who joined me, some of them have done investigations before. Pam has never done an investigation. So some of them have done. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to kind of
set back an invisible one.
Pam just
there she is.
It's going to be interesting to kind of. Somebody's got their phone up.
Yeah, I got 2 devices going.
You're going to have to turn one of them down.
Yeah, I got 2 devices. Reverb.
Turn that off, Pam.
I did. I did. How many devices do you have, Pam? I did.
Ooh,
did it go away?
That was crazy.
I turned it off. Is it still there?
No, it's fine now.
Oh.
No. But hi, Lulu. What's up, girl? So anyway, I don't know what happened with Pam. Pam's having technical issues.
We're all
That's
having
crazy.
technical
But
issues.
Called old age.
so anyway, you guys want to talk about what happened. Now, Marlo, you and your husband you were
This is
separate from
Jason.
us, from me and Kim.
Jason.
You
Jason.
talk
Jason,
about your
okay.
experiences. What happened?
Okay. So what the prison did is they divided us in 3 groups because they had 3 people working there. So all of us, and what was there, 9 of us, Mandy?
I'll be right back.
Yeah, there was 9 of us.
So we decided to all like kind of group in 3 different groups, and there was 6 different active places. So our first place that they took us to was the like a hospital medical building, and so what are we getting there?
That was the
What
trauma
happened?
room, wasn't it?
Yeah, the trauma. They said John, what's his name? John
John
Wayne
Wayne
Gacy
Gacy.
had
John Wayne
been,
Gacy.
yeah, he had used the what do you call it?
They did a scan.
A scan on him there,
MRI.
and
Scan.
Jason kind of just went around, was videotaping. That particular room got so many orbs all around it, for one, where the other areas was not orbed. He has video down the hallway, and there was you can tell at the end there's kind of shadowing and some orbs coming. Trauma 2 was pretty haunted, pretty active. I'm still going over stuff, but some of the things we actually picked up a dog barking and growling, like aggressively barking.
Really?
I don't know how, but
Yeah.
You remember when we were there, there was a growl. Do you remember that? When we were there?
Who was that? Oh, Mandy.
Uh-huh.
But one of the
we got a growl?
The thing
Well, you heard a growl.
The
I
thing
don't know
that
that
happened
we
the
recorded.
most with us, or the thing that set out the most, was okay. So I thought that something laughed, and I sort of mocked it, and that's not what I normally do at all. I'm very, very respectful when I'm investigating, but it sounded like they laughed while I was still setting up. I wasn't even on my live yet. I was still setting up. I had made I'm going to go on live video. And I heard what sounded like a laugh. So I was like, ha, 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 back to it. I don't know. It just tickled me. And then I said, do you think that's funny? Well, later when I listened back, it said, hey, guys. And then it said, no, it isn't. Like it answered me directly. No, it isn't. And then when I left out of there, something grabbed and jerked my backpack. Right as I was heading out, it jerked my backpack and it tore the strap on my backpack.
Wow.
And so that was
rough.
I'm now wondering if I made him mad by kind of mocking. So,
What way was you facing? Was
Huh?
your back towards the room on the right?
she was exiting
I
the
was
building.
exiting out. I was
Oh.
between the last 2 cell doors. Nothing was behind me. I was the last person out. Jason had already left out.
Quinn was behind you, right?
No, Quinn was in front of me. She turned around just in time to see it fall because I was just about to say it jerked it, and then she turned around. She heard me like go, and I mean I felt this jerk, and then it kind of hung up a little second, and then it fell to the ground. Oh, and listening back, there is something very sinister that was caught right after it did it, and it sounded something like next time, which. I mean, it's a very sinister, something sinister said something.
It also said separate.
Oh my God.
People said they heard separated. I did not catch that on anything myself, but it does. And I'm thinking the sinister voice was not on the Vox. I'm thinking that was an EVP that got caught on my TikTok live. But I haven't got that made yet. I'm still, but you can hear something, and it gave me goosebumps. I mean, And then what else happened there? But I'll let you guys talk about stuff. And I mean, there was other stuff that happened.
Crazy.
But I'm wondering. I'm trying. Is there anything else in there besides we? I felt like it took us a while to get going. I really would like to go back in that area because of especially that happening. But I felt like once we got going, you know, it took some time.
Was this your biggest investigation? I know that you and your husband go and you do your own little thing, but just you've only been to graveyards and maybe someone's house, right? And done a little investigation.
No, our first big investigation was in Ohio at Post Town Elementary. Where was that? It's in Post Town. It is Post Town. It's in Ohio. I can't remember. It's a pretty well known haunted.
Post Town Elementary School.
Yeah. So that was in February. We went to Mineral Springs Hotel. It used to be an old hotel that was very well known for celebrities and stuff, and that's in Illinois. And then other than that, you know, some cemeteries and a house, and you know, just kind of. So
this was probably one of your most biggest. You've never been to a prison or a jail, then I take it.
I've never been to a prison. The post sounds pretty big. I mean, they get a lot of people and activity there.
Yeah, we've been there.
One, I feel like, you know, I enjoyed it. This one was pretty active. This was consistently active and consistently intelligent responses. So
yes.
And then not only later on, we were talking about that happening, and then I mean, I still have to listen better on my stuff, but other people on live said they heard it saying, I said, why did you pull my backpack? And they heard it saying, because I wanted to. And so anyway.
Sounds like they were messing with you.
Oh yeah. And then one of the things was Shanna. I mean, I'm going to give you guys a chance to talk. I feel like I'm sitting here talking everything about what you know. But
no,
Shanna,
I want to hear your guys' experience.
All of it. Okay. I just was talking about the first building. So one of the other places that was very active was the what is it called? I keep forgetting.
Seg. Death row. Seg.
The isolation, what is the downstairs?
Segregation.
Segregation?
Yeah, what do you call it?
Was it?
Think of it.
Segregation.
Death row?
Well, death row is upstairs, and downstairs is
yeah.
When they put you in a room by yourself and hold you because you're in trouble. I can't remember the name of what it's called.
Hear us.
Isolation or whatever. So it was kind of more talkative, but I don't know. We were eager to get upstairs. The upstairs was a lot of energy. I mean, it was so strong. I mean, I felt like I didn't get as much interaction because I felt like it was a depressive energy. That's how I felt. Like they didn't really want to interact. They were depressed, but it was very strong. And solitary confinement. Yes. That's what the word I was looking for. So, before I went up there, I was bending over, arranging my stuff, trying to get ready to go upstairs. I felt something touch me around my waist. I got touched several times at different times. Downstairs later when Shanna was there, I got touched on my legs, on the front of my thighs. I got just a little tap, like a finger tap on my back when I was sitting in the cells, that hallway with the cells. Was it West something?
West General Population.
Yeah. But when I went in there, that was right after the backpack. I was like, don't be doing anything. You can touch me easy, but you can't hurt me. So, but when Shanna came in there, Shanna, I'll let you tell how it went.
What happened to you, girlfriend?
Okay, so
that's when it got nuts.
I crossed the threshold. I was walking.
You weren't even in the threshold yet.
Yeah, I crossed the threshold, and all of a sudden, her phone that has the app on it. What is that called?
It's
ghost box or whatever.
box.
Yeah. It said, who is that? And then
I think it said, who is
what?
she? I think
And
it
I
said, who is
stopped.
she?
Huh?
I think it said, who is she?
Who is she? Right.
Yeah.
And then it said, witch.
Witch?
Yeah.
And they
Well,
call
no,
you
and
witch.
it was,
before it said witch,
was
I think it said tattoo.
well, it said witch before
Okay.
it said tattoo, and I was
Okay.
like, okay then. And then it said
That is hilarious.
tattoo, which I have a tattoo on my ankle, which is
Oh,
a
wow.
Celtic knot, and it's called the witch's knot, or it's a knot of protection. So it says, witch, get out, get out.
It said, we don't want her. We don't want her. I think
Yeah.
it said, we don't want her. She can't. I forgot now. I mean, I'm going to make a video and go back over it, but it did not want her in there.
No, it did not want me in there. And
So
so I
this
was
is-
like, well,
New.
okay.
And it was a female voice coming across.
Yeah. And it kept
Oh, wow.
saying, witch, get out. Witch, get
She
out.
can't. I think it said she can't come in here. She can't. That's what it
Right.
said, because it like said it afterwards.
Yeah. And then I finally got my Ghost Box to download, because I've been having all kinds of technical trouble. And when my recording began was when I was trying to use the get it to record and get it to start talking. And that's when my recording began, was then. And I said something like, what's the matter? What, you don't want me in here. Kept calling me witch, get out, all this other stuff. And then, what was it? Then I started going into the cells, and it just kept, telling me to get out, and, different stuff. I was like, okay.
But it was, I think,
So
I think you were getting consistent things that I was getting on mine. And then the other lady, was it Catherine or the lady that was with you?
Kate, I think. Yeah.
She was, she got a couple things on just the ghost tube as far as words that was consistent with us too.
Right, exactly. And I thought, okay, sometimes it's like when you're, downloading apps and stuff, and it's like, you're thinking, oh, okay, well, this is just a bunch of BS, or it's just a bunch of static, and then they'll throw some words in there and different crap like that. But as soon as I walked across the threshold, it said, who is that? Get out, witch. And it was like, okay, this shit is real.
I remember
telling
she
you.
can't come in here.
Exactly.
That's what was really throwing me. I was like, oh
And
my
then it
gosh.
Exactly. And then it said tattoo. And I was like,
So
okay. So
they seen your
held it.
tattoo and they knew you witch.
Exactly. And
So
Marlo's
this
like,
is
what?
what I find interesting.
Yeah. Exactly. Because Marlo's
What I find
she was
interesting
live.
Yeah.
She was live at the time, and she was like reading the comments, and then they're commenting tattoo, and she's like, what, tattoo? Because she must have missed,
And then you came up with tattoo at the same
and
time.
I was like, no, they're talking about tattoo. And then I showed her my tattoo on my ankle, which is a witch's knot. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So this shit's real.
She's like,
What I have found out since when Jenny was on the team and we would go to any location, it doesn't matter where we were, they would call Jenny out on the ink box. They would say, witch, witch, witch.
Exactly.
And then you were with us and they knew you were a witch. They know a witch. Now, see, they don't call me a witch, which that's fine because I'm a medium, but I don't know if they look at it the same depending on the time frame. They might call me something, but
they did call me. They did call me I don't know if I
A-hole?
guess asshole. Yeah.
A-hole?
in the medical building, and they said they
Yeah.
weren't willing to talk, too.
Right.
It's so interesting how these spirits know that there's a when you have a witch, someone who's a witch on your, with you, they know. That is crazy. They just know.
Well,
I mean,
and another thing is when we left Seg, we walked out. We were getting ready to walk out front. We were talking about where we were going to go to next. We were like, oh, okay, well, somebody was talking about going to the chapel. And the voice on the Vox said, chapel, priest, water. And I was like, oh, great. Now we're going to go to the chapel.
It
and
was
drown
like
the
wherever
witch.
Shanna went, everybody else's things people were picking up, and I don't know where they were getting all these words. And
Exactly. Then when we went to the chapel, we walked in, and my group had been there before, but of course it's so dark. And then I looked you walked over the plank, and I looked to the right, and there was the confessional, and I was like, oh, look, it's a confessional. Maybe I should confess, because I was kind of sarcastic and snarky. Because, the spirits wanted the priest to take care of me, like drown me or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's not like I haven't been here before. So I went to the confessional, and I was like, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been forever, because I've never ever confessed. So I'm okay. And I was like, okay, spirits, you keep calling me a witch. You keep wanting me to be drowned or whatever it is. But, I do believe in God the Father. I believe in our Mother God and the Holy Spirit. And then all of a sudden on my device, it said Jesus Thursday. And I said,
wow.
and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. So I believe in Mother and Father God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. So, and I don't
think
do
I
bad
might
stuff.
have had someone say God as we were heading over there.
Yeah, exactly. And I
I
was
can't
like,
remember everything.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I mean, you're calling me a witch, but that's, not, a lot of people, you say witch, and people automatically think you're worshiping the devil or whatever, but I don't worship the devil, I'm like, no, I don't know.
Well, something else that happened I thought was really cool when we went to the school, and my people on my live was asking me, say this or say that, and they said, well, ask them what time their classes start, because they had the school for the prisoners in one building. And I'm in one room, she's in the other room. And I said, what time does your classes start? Well, she didn't even hear me ask that. And it answered on her device. It didn't answer on mine, but it answered, and it said 7 a.m. And as I'm walking out, I heard 7 a.m. And I said, she said 7 a.m. And I said, did you just say 7 a.m.? And she goes, yeah, it said 7 a.m. She didn't know what that meant. And I was like, I literally just said, what time's your classes start? And it's answering on hers saying 7 a.m. And also I said, it's getting hot in here. I want to get out of here. It's getting hot. And then it says, you're hot. And I was like, well, I don't take that if that's coming. I said, well, I just said I'm hot. And then when we left out, I tripped on the one step, and I was teasing the girl that worked there and my husband. And I said, you guys didn't warn me there's a step. And I said, you were supposed to tell me. And then it came across, I saw that. I saw it. And I'm like, well, you didn't warn me either,
Yeah.
So many things that was direct interaction, was unreal. I mean, I'm like trying to think, but there was so much. Oh, it also did mention Mandy and record. And Mandy, that was when you guys were in the chapel and we were coming over there, and it started saying, Mandy, recording, record. Recording, record. So I don't know what you were doing at that time as we were walking back to the chapel and we met up with you guys.
I was on the live feed, so maybe they were looking at it as
And you might have been
recording.
speaking, you might have been saying something about this is going to be recorded or record. I don't know.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of times things are said to confirm that you just said it, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I notice a lot.
Hi, Seeker.
So
Pam, tell us. Okay, this was your first investigation, girl, and you went all in. You went on a big investigation to a prison, a very haunted, scary location, and you just dove right in with us girls, man. You were just, whoop, you're in. I know that you've never done investigations, but I do know you've been following us. How long have you been watching us, girls?
Probably over a year. I mean, I've watched all the videos. You know, I watched all your lives after your, you know, and I'm always commenting, you know, driving people nuts. But I've been watching for a long time. Yeah, a long time.
So, what made you decide when I went live and told everyone, "Hey, I'm looking for people to join me," and what made you? What was that point where you said, "I'm going"?
Well, okay. Well, the reason why was because I've had so many experiences in life. We lived in a house for 28 years that was terribly haunted, and they loved me and I loved them. And so, it was emotional to leave them.
wow.
You know, and our neighbors would say, well, you guys are crazy. Well, when we moved out, they noticed people walking past the window, the lights coming on, all kinds of things.
Oh,
uh-oh. There she went.
Oh, girl, we done lost.
Somebody tried calling me. And even our children had told us once they got older about experiences they had. And the house that we lived in was a woman, had never been married, never had children, but her sister lived there. And it was her daughter that we bought the house from. And it was one of the, it was built in 1889. And so I've never found records on it or anything. It's one of the first farmhouses built there in that area. So it's always been intriguing to me because at one point, our daughter's first husband, they lived with us after their son was born, and they were upstairs. When I got pregnant for our third child, he's 12 years younger than the rest, but my husband built an upstairs. It was just an open attic, and we put 2 bedrooms, a living room, a bathroom, a walk-in closet, just, you know, it was all done. And they were up there, and we were on the front porch in the summertime. And he said, I forgot my cigarettes. I'm going to go upstairs and get my cigarettes. He came flying out of the house, and he said, I am never going back in there again. Well, come to find out, the remote was thrown at him, and it followed him down the steps. But I've always been intrigued by, I don't know if it's sometimes that people are born with intuition, or if they're born, you know what I'm saying? I think it's just always been there. And both of our girls were always very intuitive, and it's just always been there. It's always been a part of me. And so this opportunity was like, wow, you know, especially after watching you guys for so long.
You've been one of our big followers for sure. It was awesome to meet you too, and to meet all you guys. I mean, of course I've known Shanna, but Marlo, you and your husband, and it was awesome meeting everybody that went. It was awesome.
It was.
But and what was your reaction when we first arrived to the place, and how we did the walkthrough? And take us through it. What was your thought?
Well, my first thought was this place has only been closed for 20 years, but it feels like a 200 years. It was so heavy. you know, there was so much heaviness there. And, but I will say that I think my niece Wendy had a bigger experience than I did. I think she was with Shanna. She actually felt someone touch her arm when she was in the trauma room. And she had found out from Marlo what one of the apps were that they were using. So she downloaded it on her phone, but never opened it. Well, after we left the prison hours later, we went to a 24-hour donut shop and got coffee and donuts before we drove home. And we were sitting in the car and she was telling me about these apps. I said, you know, I really never used any of the apps, I always felt like some of them were kind of programmed.
Right.
And she opened the one called the Spirit Box.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, now I made sure when I left that I told them they can't come with me. So she opened the app and said, jokingly, no one came with us, right? And a small child laughed so clearly. I mean, I'm freezing cold right now just saying it. She dropped her phone and was like, oh no. And I was frozen just to hear it. It was the clearest thing I've ever heard. And I will say there's one thing about some of these apps that, like that one, you can actually hear that person's voice who you're talking to. It's not, and I was shocked by that. But the other thing is recently I've been doing a lot of family history. My dad started looking for his dad. My dad's been gone 25 years, so he's been looking for his dad for a long time. He knew who he was, but he hadn't seen him since he left in 1928. And so, kind of fine. Our grandfather was in prison. He was in the mafia. And he served 24 years. So to be able to go to a prison, it's not where he was at, but just to get that feeling. And he got out 24 years later. He did not die there, but just to get that feeling of what he might have gone through. I mean, especially at death row.
Yes.
I mean,
death
I've
row was
got
hard.
goosebumps so bad right now just talking about death row, because it was so hot up there and the air was just heavy, like you could not breathe when you walked up there. Mm-hmm. And it was like, shoo.
But it wasn't hot, you know, when you're in a hot room. It was a very much heaviness where you didn't even stay up there that long. He videotaped around.
I felt like it was hot.
Well, he was hot, but I was like, I stayed up there a while and it was a heavy, like intense. Yeah.
I thought it was hot.
I did use a Spirit Box besides just the app up there for a while, and I haven't got to listen to that. But it was just so loud. It's kind of like, I'm going to turn this off and go back to Vox, because I really have been getting, I really feel like Vox is working pretty good, and I was getting a lot of interaction, and I could still hear my people talking on the live and hear my own self. I feel like the Spirit Boxes are so loud.
My husband actually had somebody who worked for him who was very into this, and he started building Spirit Boxes out of old radios. So I would go to the antique malls and buy them for him, and so I'm thinking about contacting him to get one. But I was going to say about
so that's awesome.
Yeah. Death row to me, I think, was my favorite part because it was just so intense. And it wasn't just intense, but when Mandy started feeling something, I think we felt it too. And it was like a trickling.
Y'all were scared.
Yeah.
I think you guys got scared because it was like...
I
Yeah.
scared myself a couple times.
Scared, but it was the first time I've ever felt anything that strongly. You know,
I was
especially
scared up there by myself. I'll tell you, I was scared. I mean, people were like, "How is she not scared?" Well, I was scared because, I mean, I
was
didn't
going to
wasn't
by
scared that something
myself.
was going to attack me. I was just, I can't even explain it.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just,
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Working in law enforcement, working in corrections and stuff, it was weird just because my father had done prison time probably about 3 or 4 times. He was locked up maybe 15 years throughout my whole life. And he was in prison. And I had my uncles, they were in prison too. And I grew up with family members in and out of jail, in and out of prison, in and out, in and out, in and out. So I had that understanding with the people who were in trouble. You know, my father was in a lot of bad stuff. And so I kind of had a soft spot working in places like this. I could sympathize with these people. And I know what it was like because I never judged like I was never better than anybody just because I worked there and they were in trouble and whatever. Because I had family members and that were coming in and out, you know. I understood, had like a weird bond there when I worked there with the inmates because I just understood it because I grew up with family members and my father was in and out of prison and I was a daddy's girl. So I had that soft spot. And when I go to these places, I love it because I can, you know, I can communicate with them and I feel that sadness with them, which is what happened. We were in death row. And before we went into that building, it was the second location that we went into with my group. The caretaker, Rob, had said, girls, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about this. He wouldn't give no names, which that was awesome. He said, I'm going to tell you right now. We had a group of psychics here the other night. They were in here singing and they were singing Amazing Grace and all their devices just went haywire. I said, oh, we got to sing Amazing Grace. I said, we're going to do it. Well, he said the reason why the ladies did it was because when the men were on death row and they were about to be electrocuted in the chair, the men on death row could hear the screaming and yelling for 45 minutes from the man who was being electrocuted. So that the warden would have bands come in and play music so that way the men couldn't hear the
45
screaming.
minutes?
You know?
Oh my God.
Yes, 45 minutes. They could hear
45.
the screaming and the smell.
Or 45.
The screaming and the smells were coming in to the building. So I said, oh my God, we're gonna do this. So we get upstairs and I'm like, damn, man, it was real heavy. We set up some equipment and I'm standing in the back because we decided to be in the back so we could watch the equipment out front. We Googled Amazing Grace on YouTube. And I said before we started singing, there was a guy in the cell was affecting me and he kept making me feel emotional. Next thing I know, we start singing Amazing Grace and 10 seconds into it, I bawled my eyes out. I was so embarrassed, you guys. I have only cried 2 times on Ghost Sisters since I have been doing this. And that's because I was overtaken by spirits and it was bad. And usually I got my guard up, but man, they got me. They got me. And this guy, he made me so emotional. I couldn't take it. I couldn't sing no more. I stopped. I couldn't do it no more. The girls kept going and I was done. But this guy told me he was a bank robber and he was in there for murder. And he was the first one they had electrocuted in the chair. And his name was Dominique. And I about shit. He wouldn't give me nothing else. The only thing he would tell me, he was a bank robber. He was in there for murder. After we got done up there, nothing went off, no equipment. And it was just like they only affected me. So we go back downstairs. I do an isolation in one of the cells. And the girls go out to talk to Rob. They tell him what happened. Rob said she was talking to, it was Dominique. He was the first death row inmate to be electrocuted. And I was like, oh my God. And he said he was a bank robber. He was in there for murder. And it was crazy. It was crazy.
That was your second place you walked to, second building?
That was the second place. Yeah.
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 But if you remember something, man,
isolation too.
yeah,
Huh?
I don't know if you remember, but the first place that we were in, you got the name Dominic
Huh.
and
Did
thought it
I?
was,
I can't.
yeah.
Oh yes. I was
The
so
very first
drained when
place
we
we
first
were
got
in. Mm-hmm.
So he followed you, or
Yeah,
he
when
was
we first
attached with you from the beginning, I guess.
Calling for her to come
well,
there.
when we did the tour. Yeah, when we did the tour, we walked into the building and I was live. It was before the investigation. I walked into the cell and I heard the spirit say, Dominic. And I was like, Dominic? I'm like, Dominic in here? And no, I thought it was Jeremiah. Was it Jeremiah?
Yeah, you got Jeremiah, but it
I
ended.
think I
Jeremiah?
might have got a Jeremiah too.
No.
Yeah.
Josiah.
I
Josiah.
don't know. I was
Josiah came up on ours.
And
Yeah.
but anyway, it was crazy because all that happened during the investigation and it was just out of control. It was crazy. And I did an isolation in the where there was like a bed. It looked like a bed it wasn't an inmate bed. It was a place where they would lay down when they would go see the nurse. I don't know what you would call that type of bed, but I did an isolation in there and I didn't get nothing. And they were trying to come to the ink box, but they just couldn't. You could hear them trying, but they just couldn't do it. And I don't know, Pam, because after that you went in there, did you get anything?
For some
isolation
reason,
in there.
yeah. For some reason, I got the number 24, but I don't know why yet. I've watched it and I don't know why I got it yet. I still don't know why, but I got the number 24, 23. And I was like, is that how long you were here? I just kept asking questions. I even asked the audience, what kind of questions do you want me to ask? But nobody was saying anything. So I just tried to come up with, something. How long were you here? Don't be afraid to talk to me, things like that.
Maybe
But
it was
that
a
was
cell
the
number. Did you ask if it was a
Could
cell
have been
number?
a cell number. Could have been an inmate number.
Someone said they kept hearing 22 when we went back to the beginning when we were leaving and you were getting your equipment. They kept saying they heard 22. Is there a 22 cell? We're hearing 22 or 222 or something.
Yeah. When we were driving there, it was Mandy kept seeing 222, and I also saw
twos everywhere.
So when we were twos everywhere.
All the
So
way.
then we were going in there trying to figure out where to set up the TV monitor and stuff like that. And there was a cell that was 222, and I said, "Hey, Mandy, this is 222 cell."
Where's that? Where was that?
That was when we first went in there to set up. And then
where your equipment was that 222?
We were going to set up in 222, and then our guy, the great big guy, he said, no, you want to be in 224.
They just kept telling 222.
Yeah, 224. So then we went to set up in 224, and of course, my little generator only has one plug-in, so we were like, okay, we'll just set everything in here.
Yeah, we didn't get to have no cameras.
Right, exactly. So Pam, you said 24.
Yeah.
You kept hearing 24, and that's when that guy said that no, you really want to be in 224, not 222. So
yeah,
that's probably why you kept hearing the 224, or the not 224, but the 24.
And I actually recorded on my tablet before he went live.
Right.
So I was recording on my tablet just to see if something came up, but I haven't even watched it yet to know if anything was on there.
Right.
But yeah, it really is crazy because I think more than one or two people were getting the same thing in different groups as they went into places. And I think that was really interesting. But I think that when we found out about death row and what happened, I think all of our hearts just sank. When we found out.
It was bad, man. It was
Yeah.
bad. Tiffany ended up doing the Estes method in death row. And Seeker, I'll get to your question in a minute. But Tiffany did the Estes method in there. That was her first time doing it. It was her first time ever being on investigation. And she was also a former corrections officer. So I kept telling the spirits, hey, you got a couple former correction officers here. But she ends up doing the Estes method, and she got all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff came through. They were saying, shut up, shut up. And they would yell out the taker's name. It was crazy. And then we decided we were done because they said you guys were coming in. So we're like, okay, we're going to go over to another place. And Pam's like, I want to put on these earbuds and connect it to the ink box. So all the way from Death Row to the other building, Pam's like talking out loud, getting all kinds of stuff coming through. And they're just going crazy. What was you getting, Pam? Because everyone couldn't, they heard if they were on the live feed, but we were all walking and talking.
Where did you go right after that?
To where did we go?
To one of the cells, the real,
like the hallway cells, like west.
Yes,
west?
Yes.
hallway
So
cell.
we went from west to where you guys were. I think they were too worn out. They didn't talk as much once we got there because they were too worn out from you all. They talked. I just haven't got to really go over all that yet.
Yeah, because even walking before we even went in the door, if you remember, Mandy, I said, I like you.
Yeah.
But we don't know who they were talking to, but I think it was Mandy. They were like, I like you. And then once I got in there, get out was, my problem is it was like an echo that I was hearing. So I was repeating everything. If I heard get out, get out, get out, I repeated that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it sounded like. It was echoing. And I also got Jennifer, but I don't know. We found out later, remember, that there was female prisoners there. So
I got Jessica and Jesse. Like I heard Kate and I heard Jessica, but everybody else kept saying Jesse. And I said, you heard Jesse or Jessica? And they're like, we heard Jesse. And other than that, we heard someone say, come find me. Like they wanted to play. They wanted to be like, well, come find me. And I'm like, we kept saying, well, make a noise, do something. How are we going to find you? Come, make a noise. Let us find you. But they didn't want to do too much. And then, other than that, other than feeling like I thought a drop of water hit my back and I felt my back and it wasn't wet, but I think they just barely touched me. Like they were in a playful, but they were just kind of like, we don't.
Yeah, I think if we would have been there a few more hours longer, I think it would have gotten more intense because they were just filling us out. They weren't doing a whole lot too bad.
Lighting up the room pods. They were lighting up the room pods.
Get out also,
and then,
like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, but Get Out was
Rob.
really loud.
One of the things too, I did just make a video as we were going to our first place. We set up when we was in the area, and then we all split up in that first area that you guys stayed at, and then we walked from the outside along the fence, and we went to the medical building, and I started saying, introducing who we were and that we were just going to be there to talk. And hi. We were just going to be there to talk, and we're not here, we don't want any attachments. We're just wanting to communicate. And I said, hi, my name is Marlo. It came across, and I didn't hear it at the time. It came across, oh, is it? Like, oh, is it? Just a real sarcastic. And then something else. I can't remember now.
We have somebody asking. We have Seeker James asking.
Say that again.
Seeker James is asking about what you guys think about attachments. What is your thoughts on attachments?
You need to be really careful. Is all I got to say. Because I think it is very possible, and you have to be aware, first of all, that it is very possible. And not if you bring something home, if you have small children, even animals, you really need to be aware. It's not nothing to play with.
I think that no matter what
And
you
then-
do, it can happen anyways. You can sit there and say, don't attach to me. But I do think that it's going to feed on your fear.
Exactly.
You need to be adamant about
Yeah.
what you want and not be scared, because it's going to be like, if it wants to, I mean, it depends on the haunting. If it's attached to that building or that land, it's probably not going to want to leave, because it's probably there to be trying to keep you out, and it'll keep that's their space.
I think that's why a lot of residential places that have problems is why, because they have a huge fear and they don't know what they're messing with and they don't really know what to do about it.
And that fear is feeding them more energy.
Right. Right.
Right.
Did anybody feel nauseous? Did
In
anybody
death
feel
row.
nauseous in the building?
I
In the
get
buildings?
headaches off and on. Anytime I'd go anywhere that I felt energy, I would feel like a headache. I feel dizzy, but not really nauseous. But
I just couldn't stand the smell in the chapel.
that spice.
That bothered me.
Hmm.
You know what? I didn't feel anything in the chapel, not a thing.
I didn't feel anything. I just couldn't stand
That
the smell.
spice rode with us. That smell of that church rode all the way to Ohio with us in the car.
Are you serious?
The girls fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yes, the girls fell asleep, and Tiffany goes, and even Catherine in the back, she's like, I just keep smelling.
He thought
that
it was
spice
the
from
wood.
before in the church."
Oh,
Well, there was
Yes, that's what I thought.
the ceiling was rotting, and
Yeah.
I think that's what was bothering me. I had to walk outside because I couldn't stand the smell anymore.
I didn't think it was wood rotting. I thought it was a spice. And somebody said a lot of times they wouldn't bathe and they'd put, spices and things on them to cover that smell.
Right.
And maybe it was something
Well-
ritual with the church. I don't know.
Right. Well, a lot of times, I know in Catholic church rituals, they burn incense.
Mhm.
So the priest goes around with the incense thing and like
Mhm.
that.
Hi, Keith.
I didn't really smell anything other than
Really?
just decay and mildew and damp and wet.
that's what I
But-
smelled.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
smelled?
But like in certain areas,
So
what I felt was like my head, like something was wrapped
Wrapping
wrapped
around
around
head.
my head and just being squeezed, like squeezed.
Yeah,
So
I
that's about
mean,
the
I
only
think
thing I
death
felt.
for me, death row had all of that.
Yeah.
Death row was the worst.
Squeezed.
Well, what
I mean,
about
there
the-
was a big difference to go from upstairs
about-
to downstairs.
Yeah.
now,
And-
the hospital, we got some stuff over there. We actually was recording an EVP on the phone, on the iPhone, and it was crazy. We heard, and it came from I don't even know what room it was. We were out in like a hallway. It was like a room. It looked like it might have been a waiting room for them to observe you, the doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
But it had lights and stuff on the top. And right there, we heard this weird noise, man. And then what it was a foot drag. Well, what we were told, the inmates would drag their feet. They'd be, what was it? They were so drugged up, they would drag their feet or something like that. But
One of the things they came across was
you can
witch
hear
foot.
dragging.
What, Marla?
One of the
Yeah,
things that came
so-
across
and
was
then when
witch
we
foot.
Which foot?
Not witch like you.
That's crazy. 'cause
Like
we were
I
talking
feel like
about
a doctor was saying witch foot, and I also got a Dr. Wall on there.
Huh.
I think there's a lot of stuff pertaining to residual energy coming through in there.
Right.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of residual there.
Mhm.
But there was, like you said, a lot of intelligent spirits. But we didn't get
Yeah.
nothing through the ink box over there. It went
No.
completely silence on the ink box. We didn't get a cat ball, nothing lit up. I had the SLS camera out. We didn't get anything with the SLS camera. We didn't get nothing. Did the REM pod go off, Pam? I
Yes.
don't think it did.
Not down there, but it
No, it
did
did?
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything light up either.
I ended up doing an isolation. I did an isolation on the X-ray table that John Wayne Gacy had laid on. So the girls went and did their thing, and I had some stuff around me, and I was talking to, well, I was hoping John Wayne Gacy was there, but if he was there, he wasn't talking to me. And I was just laying there, nothing would go off. I could feel and sense there was spirits around, but nothing's happening. They wouldn't come near nothing. But I could feel myself getting a little bit angry because I kept talking about John Wayne Gacy, and I was like, John Wayne Gacy, I just want you to know I have seen your documentaries, and I am not, you are, I don't even know what I said. But I was like going off.
When were you in there?
Yeah.
When did you guys go to that building?
Pardon?
When did you guys go to that building?
After we left, not after death row, it was after we left the other cell.
Solitary.
So it was your fourth place, I guess, or
I don't know what it was.
so you went from the death row.
It was the
to
place before we went to the
Hall of Cells or West Cells or the public.
And I
Yeah,
gotta tell you that.
But what
Mandy went down a hallway, a dark hallway by herself. Remember that?
Oh my
What
God!
Rob-
Pitch black, guys.
Which hallway?
Pitch black. I couldn't see nothing. There was tears piling up. There was they said they housed 200 men there, I believe. And that guy, because what got me to go down there was they had it locked up, and I'm like, why can't we go down here and investigate? He goes, oh no, we got that blocked off. They're cleaning it up still. They're working on it. And Tiffany goes, well, I ain't going down there. I'd be too afraid. I said, well, I'm not afraid. I'll go down. He goes,
I can see
what?
you, Mandy,
He goes, all right,
like,
you're
I'm
going
gonna
down.
go.
I said, he goes, all right, you're going down. And I said, really? So he opens up the gate and he lets me in. He goes, but you're not going down with no lights or anything. And I said, whoa, wait a minute.
First he tells you
I have
it's dangerous,
lights.
and he tells you not to, then you got to go in the dark.
But here's the thing: we made the mistake of not recording it because
I
she
said I'm on a
got
live feed.
yeah.
I'm
But we
on a
could
live
see what
feed,
she
dude.
could not see. We could see
So I'm going
the
down.
shadow behind
Yeah,
her.
the only way I could see was to turn the camera around, and I could barely see, just enough to see the ground barely. It was pitch black. I'm on a live feed, and I'm
Yeah.
walking slowly because there's water everywhere, man. I'm like, I won't trip something. I'm trying to be careful, but I could feel them rushing up on me, man. I'm like, oh my God, help me. This is horrible. No light. This is horrible. So I make it all the way down. But when I was turning around to come back, I told the spirit, I said, all right, I felt something rush up on me. And I said, I don't know, I freaked out. I said, something just rushed up on me. And that's when I was like, don't be rushing up on me. And when I finally got all the way back to where they were, they're like freaking out, telling me something was on you. I'm like, what? I said, when? They said, when you were heading down. I said, was it when something rushed up on me? They said, no, when you started walking down. So I don't know.
You guys
What
were
did you see,
watching her
Peyton?
from, you guys were, how was you doing that?
Yeah, there was 3 of us that seen the same thing, and Rob was one of them. And
With your eyes, you saw
with
something?
our eyes, that's why I said I wished we would have recorded it. But
But they
Mandy
didn't
was
want no
live.
lights on me.
Yeah, they didn't want.
Well, they
He said no
seen 'cause
light.
the camera.
Yeah,
Because the lighting from the camera.
yeah.
Where
So
was
just
that?
whatever very little light that was coming through the top windows, you
Mhm.
know, from the night, and you could actually see the shadow, and it was a lot bigger than her.
And this
I
was happening
cannot-
where?
Is that called
What's
what was that called?
West Cells or something?
So it was in that same
I
area.
don't even
Yeah,
know.
West,
Right.
like the
The
public,
West general population.
general population.
There,
first
that's
area
what
where
it
we
is.
Was it the hallway behind the main one, and then behind it? You went back there and videotaped. Yeah,
It
I
was
didn't even
right
know there was
before
another
we
hall
went
till it was time to leave. I said, "Where'd you go there?" I didn't even know we could go another area.
Yeah,
we stayed in the
wasn't
front.
supposed to go in there.
Oh, well.
I
There's
wasn't
something
supposed
else.
to go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something else I just now thought of. I have 2 bruises on me,
Hmm.
and I don't know how they
What?
happened. Yeah, I have 2
Really?
bruises. Yeah.
Where are
Let's
they?
see here.
Wow.
You never said this till now. You even mentioned this.
Yeah.
What are you talking
There's
about?
one. There, yeah,
froze
there's
up.
one
I
right
saw a
there.
bruise on my
Right there.
stomach, on
I
my
can
hip
see
earlier
that.
too.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's that one. And then let's see.
When did you first notice this?
Dang.
She's
Whoa.
froze.
Wow.
What the hell happened?
I don't know.
Are you sure that came
I
from
don't
the
know.
prison?
I don't know.
That was not.
I don't know because it wasn't there before.
And you
if
haven't
look-
been anywhere else.
No, I haven't been anywhere else. I haven't really done anything. And if you look at it, let me see here. It's kind of starting to turn yellow.
Yeah.
So when when it turns yellow like that, it means it's old.
Yeah.
You know. But I was like, I saw it yesterday or day before, and I was getting dressed in in the mirror and whatnot, and then my husband saw it last night. He was like, "What happened? What happened? What did you do?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then this morning, I saw this one, and it looks like more like a finger, or
So none
like
of these marks were there after you got home.
No.
You never seen anything.
No, never seen them. This one here I saw this morning. This one here, it's been 1 or 2 days since
Wow.
yeah.
I saw one earlier on my hip in the front, like
Yeah.
on my stomach kind of hip
Right.
area. I mean,
Right.
I bruise easy, so it's not unusual for me to, see a bruise and be like, oh, I don't even know what I did.
Exactly. And
I
I'm thinking,
don't know
okay, if I
either.
would have ran into something here,
That looks like you would have felt it.
Oh
more.
yeah, you'd
boy,
know
yeah,
that.
I mean, how black it is. And then especially this one, I was like,
That does look like a finger on your arm,
Yeah.
though.
yeah, like something.
Well, considering you're a witch,
grab-
you were
yeah,
you're
I
a
was
witch,
making
and they were
them-
calling you out. They didn't want you there.
well,
Possible,
yeah.
but can we
They were
say
like,
that actually happened from there? Yeah, they
Yeah,
could have been
exactly.
poking you.
Exactly.
So
We'll
when
never
we
know
were-
if it happened from there.
when we were in the again downstairs, the isolation area, I mean, I was looking in the window, videotaping the with my phone with the live through the window to look in the cell, and that was the first time I literally scared myself, because I would say going into that building alone, I felt a little anxious. Once I got upstairs, I felt all the heaviness, and then I did feel kind of scared, especially whenever I was up there by myself. And then, but downstairs, I scared my own self because I ended up hitting that like door knocker kind of thing. I don't know if it's I guess it's when they slide the food in, and I hit it and it scared me.
Yeah.
But I listened to his video, and I need to listen a little closer. And I asked him, I said, do you remember hitting that? Because he was taking the camera. He wasn't really investigating and asking questions. He was just videotaping a lot. And he took his camera and videotaped into the window, and he was standing away from that door. And on his video, it picked up what sounded like something like banging on the other side. It didn't sound like, it didn't look like he hit it. I asked him, and you said no.
I don't remember hitting it.
Yeah, it sounded like, like somebody would be banging on the door on the inside. And that's what was funny, is because that's what I actually thought at the moment. It scared me and I screamed. And but then I realized, well, I just touched it. But later when I watched it,
we kept hearing when we were downstairs in the salt and death row,
You're cutting out.
and we would go quiet, you would hear walking up there. And even at the hospital, we would hear walking. And the spirits kept saying, upstairs, upstairs. And I said, I think I'm going to go upstairs, guys. I think I'm going to go upstairs. I almost wanted to just go up there myself. And I was like, Spirit, you want me to go up there by myself? And I forget at that point, I think Tiffany put on started doing the Estes method, and we just I just didn't go or ended up leaving. But I almost went up there by myself.
I was
It probably
upstairs
would
for
not have
quite a
been the same.
while. I was upstairs at least 20 minutes by myself. And
Are you talking about in the
death row.
in the oh? In
We
Death
lost
Row?
Pam. Pam done disappeared. But that's all right. I'm laughing to her.
She's a ghost now.
But
So
yeah.
anyway, overall, what did you guys think? Do you ever see yourself going on another investigation to a big place like that on your own?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I want to go back. I already have people saying, I had people on my live already trying to make things work out to go. I was like,
Yeah.
well, they were already including me and I didn't say anything. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
Would you
definitely
say the
do it
Joliet
again.
prison is haunted?
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Not only with residual, but with intelligent responses.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely intelligent responses, just based on Marlo, what Marlo and I experienced. Well, the other girls that were with us, when I walked into Seg Death Row, because it's like, okay.
Did you have fun with the ghost sister?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Marlo didn't get to
I didn't get to like hang out and experience all the stuff with you. I liked that we could separate and get our own parts, but I mean, it made you not want to necessarily leave. But I also wanted to be with everybody. But then I also know when you are with more people, it's like
it can be overwhelming. The spirits, some don't like that.
It's too many people trying to overtalk each other, and you got to kind of move out. And the way that place is set up, you have all these different individual buildings, and
exactly.
It's not just one giant big place you're in, and you can walk on different floors. So I did like how we kind of did it, although.
Yeah, we never saw you.
Although we didn't really get to see each other that much, so that was kind of a
met at
bummer.
the chapel, and that was it. Yes, Pam, I can
Yeah.
hear you, and I not hear you, but I see your comment. Yeah, at the chapel, but I didn't get too much with the chapel. Maybe I don't know why, it was just quiet. It was really quiet for me. But
Yeah.
we have been to the Mansfield prison already.
Did you go into the school, Mandy?
No, did we hit? I don't think I did hit those. I don't know. I hit like 5 or 6 buildings. I lost track. We did the cafeteria, the chapel, the hospital.
The cafeteria was slow too.
2 different holding cells. Death row.
The cafeteria, though, I kept losing connection with my ghost tube, but yeah, definitely the hospital, and definitely.
I liked the hospital. That was fun.
Well, one of the things that I kind of noticed is like when we were in Tennessee at the shrine, and then we went down in the cave. All of us were down there. All 4 of us were down there, and then we weren't getting very much activity. And then I said, do you not want some of us here? Do you want some of us to leave? And then it came across the spirit box, the witches. So Jenny, remember that? So Jenny and I were like, okay, well, the witches will leave. So me and Jenny left. And then all of a sudden,
left Mandy and Danielle there.
Yeah, Mandy and the other girl, I can't remember what her name is right now, but
Danielle.
Then Mandy and Danielle got all kinds of stuff, while Jenny and I went outside and kind of chilled out. So I was thinking, and then like when we were at the Joliet prison, me and the other 2 ladies, I'm terrible with names, Catherine and anyways, so we were we went to the chapel, and then we went to the hospital. The hospital, when we went around during the day, we went into the hospital area where we walked by the hospital area, and I kept thinking, feeling, oh, we got to go to the hospital. We have to go to the hospital. But when we went to the hospital, I didn't really, I didn't really get anything, but our electronic stuff wasn't working because I'm electronic the equipment I'm not familiar with. So then I downloaded the app that Marlo has, and I finally started getting stuff. But I was thinking maybe one of the reasons why the electronic stuff wasn't working was because I'm a witch, and maybe wasn't getting the responses that maybe the other ladies were getting because of
You being a witch.
me being witch. Exactly. So I was thinking,
You
well,
witches.
okay, they don't want me here. They want me out. They're not going to talk to me, whatever. And one of the things was that I said, well, I was in SAG and Death Row. That building was, because they kept, calling me witch, and I was like, and telling me to get out and all that other stuff. And I was like, pretty snarky to them. And I was like, well, you can call me all the names that you want. I've been called witch before, and that I need to die and all that stuff. And I was like, if you think you're gonna hurt my feelings, it's too bad, because I don't have feelings. So, I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely dealing with an entity that knows that I'm a witch and these other ladies aren't. That's what kind of like, oh wow, well, this
That's probably what happened.
Yeah,
And that's probably why you got those.
there was
Could be why it
some
works out.
there was some conversation, or I'm trying to remember now because I haven't really looked at all that, but it definitely skyrocketed right as I was going to go on out, and they were coming in because I was upstairs for probably 20 minutes. I said, well, tell them to go ahead and come in. Jason went on outside, and I was thinking, well, someone's going to come up here with me, because I was feeling, kind of anxious. But then I'm like, well, I guess I'll go downstairs. I guess they ain't never coming in. And I went on down and started to head out before I got out of that building. And you and, was it Kathy, coming in? Yeah. You weren't even in the door. And they were like, nope. We don't want her here.
We don't want her here.
It was
so
crazy.
Like, oh, okay. Well, I've been told that before.
Yeah, great as the witches.
Did they say where?
Well, you guys, I hate to.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, did they say where Prison Break got filmed in there? I know they filmed Prison Break there the first season. Did they say?
Oh, I don't know.
Everywhere we were was pretty rough. All the, I don't know. I didn't know if they told you guys. I don't know.
I don't know if they might have. I was so drained at that place.
And we didn't get to do the tour ahead of time either.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was cool. It was a neat place.
Awesome.
I definitely want to go back to the hospital area more.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. I would love to go back another time. But I do appreciate you guys going with me. And so we're going to get off here. Thank you guys for joining me on this live and telling everybody what you experienced. And thank you, Pam. And thank you, Kathy, and everyone else who joined us. There's too many to tell you who all went. 9 people. So I appreciate all you guys. It's been awesome. So
I have my TikTok is Show Me Paranormal. If you guys want to look at any of the videos, I'm trying to get
out
there. Show_me_paranormal. So little by little, I'm trying to work on what we all caught. Sometimes you don't catch stuff till you really are going over it. And then you're like, whoa, I didn't hear that. I didn't know that, So it's fun.
I've been going through watching to see if I caught any shadow figures on my camera while I was recording. You never know. You can get stuff. Yeah. So, but thank you guys for being on here.
Thanks,
and
thanks, Mandy.
We are ghosting out, everybody.
Ghosting out. All right. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.